This is KGW News at Sunrise.
We didn't know he had a warrant, so we didn't know he was in trouble. We didn't even know nothing about him.
A huge police response in a Gresham neighborhood after a man barricaded himself inside a shed when officers tried to serve a warrant. We spoke with the people who were renting him a room.
We also have a new installment of a Sunrise segment we call What's in a Name? This morning, Devin Haskins is tackling one of the most requested topics for this segment. It is not some boring Oregon story.
We hope not.
No, it's not, Rod. It's a story about how boring Oregon got its name.
That sounds boring.
No, it's not.
Oh,
it's not
far
boring.
From, Rod.
It's
far
about
from.
boring.
And this morning, we are live from the Grotto Festival of Lights. Look at those twinkling lights on moving branches. It's kind of windy out there, it looks like.
Yeah.
Eric Patterson walking through the event in Northeast Portland for us this morning. So pretty out there. He's just walking a quarter of a mile. No big deal. He should be fine. This whole thing, though, will feature choir singers, carolers. It all goes through December 30th, but we've got a lot more details coming up a little later in the show.
All right, Eric doing the heavy lifting for us this morning because it is nice and comfortable here in the Sunrise studio.
Yes.
Just to go back to that boring story
the
that
boring
we were
one
joking
coming
about.
up. Yes.
I already watched it. I kind of cheated this morning.
Oh, okay.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
It's coming up at 5:15. It is great.
It's about boring, but it's not boring.
Exactly.
But it is a boring story, basically.
Just how about this? Focus on a non-boring forecast.
Oh, we got to have fun with this as much as we can. Come on. All right. We have snow in the Cascades with snow in the Gorge. It's been rain overnight along the higher passes in the Coast Range, and it's steady rain in Portland right now. The rain breaks up a little bit as you get down toward Woodburn and into Salem. All rain up through Sandy. Snow levels have generally been holding above 2,000 feet, except for the Gorge. Right now, 36 out at PDX. A little bit cooler than a lot of the valley because there is an east cooling effect of the wind coming out of the Gorge. You folks in Salem are holding in the 40s, for example. Portland, 43. The steady rain probably breaks into showers somewhere in that 8 o'clock hour, and then it will be a scattered shower day behind that morning front. The winds that Christine referred to, those will be calming down through mid-morning as that front comes through as well. More in your forecast shortly.
All right, Rod, thanks for that update. We do want to get to our top story this hour. A Gresham neighborhood is waking up to a quieter scene than they saw last night when a standoff with a man wanted by U.S. Marshals shut down their street for hours. This happened near Northeast 36th Court and Hogan Drive.
And we're still trying to work out the details on the warrant that those U.S. Marshals were out there issuing, but Alma McCarty spoke with the people who say the man was their tenant.
A residential road in Gresham closed for hours Wednesday afternoon as crisis negotiators attempted to contact a man who'd locked himself inside a shed on Northeast 36th Court.
He barricaded himself in, and then they heard multiple shots fired within the shed.
The U.S. Marshals Task Force had tried to serve a warrant to Thomas Gutz, finding him in the backyard of a home here. When he didn't come out, they called more resources in. Roughly 50 Gresham police officers and Multnomah County Sheriff's deputies responded to the scene.
And in the back is a roommate we let move into our ADU, and he's just got a couple warrants that he never took care of.
The people renting him the space, who asked not to be identified by name, said police told them this began after the suspect had an argument with his girlfriend.
Basically, it boiled over, and she told them that they live with us, so they came to collect on the warrant. But because of his record, they really pulled out all the stops. I mean, this is way too much. He's not a bad guy.
While U.S. Marshals were trying to arrest Gutz Wednesday on a weapons-related warrant, court records show he also served time for being a felon in possession of a firearm and for various drug charges dating back to 2019.
We didn't know he had a warrant, so we didn't know he was in trouble. We didn't even know nothing about him. He's just a nice, quiet guy. Drives a nice new Mercedes and just needed a room for rent while he was going through a breakup with his girlfriend.
Around 6 p.m., Gresham police say the situation ended without incident.
After an extended period of time, about an hour though, which is not too lengthy, thankfully, negotiators were able to talk with him, built a really good rapport with him, and through that were able to talk him out. He walked out on his own accord and walked to the officers who were waiting. They took him into custody, and thankfully everything ended peacefully.
Investigators say no one was hurt, including the officers on scene as well as the suspect. In Gresham, Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Now to a horrible situation in Vancouver where deputies say a man shot both his wife and baby, then killed himself. The mother and baby survived, though we don't have an update on their condition. This all happened yesterday afternoon in the Salmon Creek area near Northwest 4th Place and 152nd Street. Clark County Sheriff's deputies say a woman called 911 and told dispatchers her husband had shot her and their baby before shooting himself. Neighbors say they didn't know anything was wrong.
Everybody's really friendly over the summertime. All the moms were outside with their young children and playing, and I remember her coming out with her newborn.
No word on what led up to the shooting. Deputies have not released the names of the people involved. And if you or someone you know needs help, you can reach the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline by calling or texting that number right there on your screen. It is 988, and it is the new simplified number to talk with counselors any time of the day.
All right, here's a look now at some other local headlines we're following this morning, starting with the latest on Measure 114. It will not go into effect today. Yesterday, the Oregon Supreme Court decided not to overturn a recent block on the measure, which was ordered by a state judge in Harney County earlier this week. Another hearing on the measure in state court is set for next Tuesday. In response to all the back and forth over Measure 114 this week, Oregon State Police launched a new website with information on what they know at this point about the new permitting process. Part of the measure requires permits for new gun sales. So the Oregon State Police website is called Permit to Purchase. It explains where the new measure stands, plus anticipated steps and questions. State police say at this point they're focused on the new training the new aspects of this permit and how people can get up to speed. Oregon Governor Kate Brown issued an executive order that gives hospitals more flexibility in addressing the recent rise in RSV, COVID, and flu cases. It'll help with hospital staffing by allowing them to pull in medical volunteers and doctors. State health officials say COVID hospitalizations are at their highest level since July, and it's expected to get worse. We're going to learn more when the Oregon Health Authority gives its monthly update today at noon. And that's a look at some of this morning's local headlines.
Portland City Council has unanimously approved the hiring of 6 new firefighters to fully reopen a Southeast Portland fire station. The money to hire them will come from a $2 million federal grant. Now, to accept the grant, City Council had to promise to at least keep the current level of staffing for the fire department over the next 3 years and not make any cuts. The department has been in a staffing crisis due to past budget cuts and retirements, and will spend $29 million this year on overtime for firefighters to fill shifts. This grant, of course, won't solve the problem, but hiring 6 more firefighters will allow the station near Southeast Powell and Milwaukee to respond to 911 calls. And starting next April, city employees will be required to work in person at least half the time. Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler made the announcement yesterday. The mayor's office says it's necessary as Portland transitions to a new form of government that was mandated by the voter-approved charter reform measure. Currently, about 40% of city staff are in the office 1 day a week.
All right, take a look at this video before we get to Rod's forecast. Pretty cool. This is a trailer for the Jefferson Dancers Spring Concert. The group just posted this a couple of weeks ago. We're showing this to you today because the Jefferson Dancers are going to be out at Pioneer Courthouse Square later today for a performance, so you can check them out there. The company this year is made up of 11 students from all grade levels. This is the company's 47th season. Again, that holiday performance today at the Square starts at noon. So if you're not familiar, Jefferson High School here in Portland has a dance company made up entirely of students that really looks and acts like a professional dance company. They are so cool. Unbelievable, incredible.
And there's the chance, I mean, it's going to be scattered precipitation at noon, so there's the chance.
Oh, geez,
no, there's the chance they'll find a dry window.
Okay.
Scattered means there's the decent chance that when you're there, it'll be dry.
Plus, they're so good. I had trust that these dancers could actually dodge the raindrops with their moves, Rod.
Bam.
They're that good.
You kind of looked like Rod just now. You were like doing this thing.
Yeah, boy. All right, here's a look at our Columbia River Gorge ODOT camera out to Cascade Locks. I will tell you, so you can tell there's snow roadside, and it's kind of dicey on the roadway. It looks like the temperature out there is currently 32 degrees. It's light snow and 28 by the time you get into Hood River. And again, this is a winter weather advisory for snow posted in the gorge until noon. Still expecting maybe up to 4 inches in some spots as you get into the Hood River Valley. Otherwise, it is rain here in the valley. Triton's been reporting some flurries mixed with rain showers. There is that east wind. It's been gusty coming out of the gorge to about 35, 37 miles per hour. Once the front passes us in the next couple of hours, that east wind in East Multnomah County will fizzle and kick to the south, and you folks will be a little bit warmer. So that's some good news coming your way. Here are the other numbers. You get out in the gorge again. The Dow's 31, but Kelso's a 40. Portland, this is PDX, cool by that east wind, 36. But look at Salem and Eugene. Newport's at 45. We have 3 out there in Burns right now where snow showers are in the forecast for later today. So Futurecast, 8:30 this morning. The front will be through. The east winds in East Multnomah County will kick to the south. We'll be on the back edge of the steady precipitation that's been coming in. And then the rest of the day here in the valley and over the coast, it'll be scattered showery weather. Here we are at 4:30. Snow will break up after the heavier snow falls in the morning in the Cascades as well. And it should be at least a wet mix this afternoon in the Columbia River Gorge. Overnight tonight, snow levels get back down to about 1,200 feet, but there's not going to be a lot of precipitation around. Here's the next big wave coming in tomorrow afternoon. That picks up the heavy snow again tomorrow night in the gorge and again down into the Cascades. So you folks in the gorge, a little bit of snow this morning, then you warm up, a little bit of snow again overnight tonight. More snow coming for you Friday night into Saturday morning. Today and tonight, it's 8 to 14 up in the Cascades, to 4 inches in Hood River this morning. Snow levels again down to about 1,200 feet, it looks like, overnight tonight. So we're pretty active with the system this morning. Another one Friday night into Saturday morning. Sunday, things start to fizzle down with some sun breaks, decreasing showers. Then we go dry weather Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.